The 5 a.m. Club, Chapter 4. Disclaimer: The CEO of Fisher and Rayla Book Club has no affiliation with this book. This is just an initiative to transform lives. Thank you. Chapter 4. Letting go of mediocrity and all that's ordinary. Why sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland. You are a painter, right? The homeless man asked as he toyed with a loose button on his shabby shirt. Yeah, mumbled the artist, sort of a frustrated one. I'm good, but not great. I have a lot of art at my flat in Zurich, said the homeless man, smiling indulgently. Bought a place right on the Bahnhofstrasse just before the prices skyrocketed. I've learned the importance of being around only the highest quality wherever I go. That's one of the best winning moves I've made to create the life I've crafted. In my businesses, I only allow in top players because you can't have an A-level company with C-level performance. We only release products that totally disrupt our market and then absolutely change the field by how valuable they are. My enterprises only offer services that ethically enrich our clients, deliver a breathtaking user experience, and breed fanatical followers who couldn't imagine doing business with anyone else. And in my personal life, it's the same thing. I only eat the best food, though I don't eat a lot of it. I only read the most original and thoughtful books, spend my time in the most light-filled and inspiring of spaces, and visit the most enchanting of places. And when it comes to relationship, I only surround myself with human beings who fuel my joy, stoke my peace, and excite me to become a better man. Life's way too valuable to hang with people who don't get you, who you just don't vibe with, who have different values and lower standards than you do, who have different mindsets, art sets, health sets, and soul sets. It's a little miracle how powerfully and profoundly our influences and environments shape our productivity as well as our impact. Interesting, noted the entrepreneur as she stared at her phone. He does seem to know what he's talking about, she muttered softly to the artist, her eyes still down on the screen. The spider's web of wrinkles on her face relaxed further. On one wrist dangled 2 immaculate silver bracelets. One bore the phrase, "Son, I can't" into "I can't," while the other was engraved with, "Done is better than perfect." The entrepreneur had purchased these presents for herself when her company was in its startup phase and she had been in a highly confident mood. I know about mindsets, said the artist. Never heard of art sets, health sets, and soul sets, man. You will, suggested the homeless man. And once you do, the way you create, produce, and show up in your world will never be the same. Seriously, revolutionary concepts for any empire maker and world builder. And so few business people and other human beings on the planet currently know about them. If they did, every important element of their lives would increase rapidly. For now, I just wanted to keep jamming on my personal commitment to ultra high quality in everything around me. Your surroundings really do shape your perceptions, your inspirations, and your implementations. Art feeds my soul. Great books, proofread, great books battle-proof my hope. Rich conversations magnify my creativity. Wonderful music uplifts my heart. Beautiful sights fortify my spirit. And all it takes is a single morning filled with positivity to deliver a monumental download of inventive ideas that elevate an entire generation. And I need to say that uplifting humankind is the master sport of business that the top 5% play. The real purpose of commerce is not only to make your personal fortune. The true reason to be in the game is to be helpful to society. My main focus in business is to serve. Money, power, and prestige are just the inevitable byproducts that have shown up for me along the way. An old and remarkable friend taught me this way of operating when I was a young man. It totally transformed the state of my prosperity and the magnitude of my private freedom. And this contrarian business philosophy has dominated my way of doing things ever since. Who knows, maybe I'll introduce my mentor to you sometime. The vagrant paused. He studied his large watch. Next, he closed his eyes and said these words: "Own your money, elevate your life." As if by magic, a fairly small and quite thick piece of white paper appeared in the palm of his outstretched left hand. It was quite a trick. You would have been exceedingly impressed if you were standing there with these three souls. Here's what the image on the paper looked like. The entrepreneur and the artist both had their mouths open at this point, appearing to be both confused and mesmerized. You two each have a hero inside of you. You knew this as a child before adults told you to limit your powers, shackle your genius, and betray the truths of your heart. The homeless man told them, sounding a lot like the spellbinder. Adults are deteriorated children, he went on. When you were much younger, you understood how to live. Staring at stars filled you with delight. Running in a park made you feel alive. And chasing butterflies flooded you with joy. Oh, how I adore butterflies. Then as you grew up, you forgot how to be human. You forgot to be bold and enthusiastic and loving and widely alive. Your precious reservoirs of hope faded. Every ordinary became acceptable. Being ordinary became acceptable. The lamp of your creativity, your positivity, and your intimacy with your greatness grew dim as you began to worry about fitting in, having more than others, and being popular. Well, here's what I say. Participate not in the world of numbed out grown-ups with its scarcity, apathy, and limitation. I'm inviting you to enter a secret reality known only to the true masters, great geniuses, and genuine legends of history, and to discover primal powers within you that you never knew were there. You can create magic in your work and personal lives. I sure have, and I'm here to help you do so. Before the entrepreneur and the artist could utter even a word, the homeless man continued his discourse. Oh, I was jamming on the importance of art and the ecosystem that your life is built within. Makes me think of the awesome words of the Portuguese writer Fernando Pessoa. Art frees us through illumination. Art fuels us through illusion from the squalor of being. Why feeling the wrongs and sufferings endured by Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, we don't feel our own, which are vile because they are ours, and vile because they are vile. Also reminds me of what Vincent van Gogh said, "For my part, I know nothing with my certainty, but the sight of the stars makes me dream." The homeless man swallowed hard. His eyes darted away. He cleared his throat nervously. Guys, I've been through a lot. Been knocked down and kicked around a ton by life. Been sick, been attacked, been abused, been misused. Hey, I'm sounding like a country song. If my girl cheated on me and my dog died, I would have a hit single. The homeless man laughed. An old guttural circus clown on acid sort of laugh. He carried on. Anyway, it's all good. Pain is the doorway into deep. Know what I mean? And tragedy is nature's great purifier. It burns away the fakeness, fear, and arrogance that is of the ego. Returns us to our brilliance and genius. If you have the courage to go into that which wounds you, suffering yields many results. Suffering yields many rewards, including empathy, originality, relatability, and authenticity. Jonas Salk said, "I have had dreams and I've had nightmares, but I have conquered my nightmares because of my dreams." The uninvited vagabond added wistfully, "He's super weird, incredibly eccentric, but there is something special to him," admitted the entrepreneur quietly to the artist, removing just a little more of the armor of cynicism that had protected her over her stellar career. What he just said is exactly what I've needed to hear. I get that it looks like he lives in a cardboard box on the streets. But listen to his words. Sometimes he speaks like a poet. How could he be so articulate? Where did his depth come from? And who is this old friend he says has taught him so much? He also has a warmth that reminds me of my dad. I still miss him. He was my confidant, my top supporter, and my best friend. I think of him every day. Okay, said the artist to the quirky stranger. You asked me what I liked best from the talk. I def liked the part where the spellbinder talked about the Spartan warrior credo that says, one who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. One who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. And I liked his line, high victory is made in those early morning hours when no one's watching and while everyone else is sleeping. His teachings on the value of a world-class morning routine was great. The entrepreneur glanced down at her device. I've taken down some good notes, but I didn't pick up those gems, she said as she captured what she had just heard. We only hear what we are ready to hear, observed the homeless man sagely. All learning meets us exactly where we are at. As we grow greater, we understand better. The voice of the spellbinder suddenly rang out. The homeless man's eyes looked as huge as the Taj Mahal. One could see he was terrifically surprised to hear that famous tone. He spun around, seeking the source. Quickly, all became clear. The artist was playing his illicit recording from the seminar. Here's the part I liked the most. To fully answer your question, brother, he started, staring directly into the eyes of the shabby tramp. In a culture of cyber zombies, addicted to distraction and afflicted with interruption, the wisest way to guarantee that you consistently produce mastery level results in the most important areas of your professional and personal life is to install a world-class morning routine. Winning starts at your beginning, and your first hours are when heroes are made. Wage a war against weakness and launch a campaign against fearfulness. You truly can get up early, and doing so is a necessity in your awesome pursuit toward legendary. Take excellent care of the front end of your day, and the rest of your day will pretty much take care of itself. Own your money. Elevate your life. The spellbinder could be heard whizzing like a novice swimmer who went too far, too fast. The artist continued presenting his recording, turning up the volume so the sound was blaring. Here's the precious little secret that the titans of industry, the standout performance of artistry, and the ultra achievers of humanity will never share with you. The gargantuan results are much less about your inherited genetics and far more about your daily habits. And your morning ritual is by far the most essential one to calibrate and then automate. When we see the icons in action, the thoughtful seduction told to us by our civilization is to believe they were always that great, that they were born into their exceptionalism, that they won the fortunate DNA lottery, that their genius was inherited. Yet the truth is that we are watching them in their full blazing glory after years of following a process, one that involved ceaseless hours of practice. When we observe magnificent players in business, sports, science, and the arts, we are observing the end results of a monomaniacal concentration around a single pursuit, astronomical focus on one skill, intensity of sacrifice applied to one aim, unusual levels of deep preparation, and extreme amounts of solid patience. Remember, every professional was once an amateur, and every master started as a beginner. Ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary feats once they have routinized the right habits. "This cat is so solid," said the homeless man. He clapped his dirty hands like a kid at a carnival. He checked his watch yet again. Then he began to shuffle his feet while swaying his hips forward then backward. His hands were now waving in the air, and he was snapping his fingers with closed eyes again. Sounds like the early rappers used to make without their boom boxes emerged from his cracked lips. You would have been astonished to watch him in action. "What the hell are you doing?" shouted the artist. "Dancing," replied the homeless man, moving gloriously. "Keep bringing me this beautiful knowledge," Socrates said. "Education is the kindling of a flame." And Isaac Asimov wrote, "Self-education is, I believe, the only kind of education there is." So, keep playing the old guru's words, dude. It's all so gnarly. The artist resumed the recording. "Heavily resist all piracy of your mastery from this world, tempting you into distractibility and causing digital dementia. Force your attention back to the Everest of potential, aching for fuller expression, and today, release all reasons that feed any stagnation of your strengths. Start being an imaginationalist, one of those rare individuals who leads from the nobility of your future versus via the prison bars of your past. Each of us thirsts for days filled with tiny bursts of the miraculous. Every one of us wishes to own our pure heroism and step into unchained exceptionalism. All human beings be alive at this moment have a primitive psychological need to produce masterworks that wow, live daily amidst uncommon hell, and know that we are somehow spending our hours in a way that enriches the lives of others. The poet Thomas Campbell said it beautifully when he observed, "To live in arts we leave behind is not to die." To live in arts we leave behind is not to die. Each of us truly has been built to make history in our own authentic way. For one, this might mean being an excellent coder or a fine teacher who lifts young minds. For another, This opportunity could mean becoming a tremendous mother or a magnificent manager. So, yet another, this good fortune may mean growing a great business or being a fantastic salesperson who serves customers superbly. This chance to be remembered by future generations and lead a life that truly matters is not some platitude. This is, in fact, a truth. Yet, so few of us have discovered and then installed the very mentalities, morning practices, and consistent conditions that will guarantee these results appear for us. We all want to reassess our birthright of towering talent, limitless joy, and freedom from fear. But few of us are willing to do the very things that would cause our hidden genius to present itself. Strange, right? And it's very sad. The majority of us have been hypnotized out of the luminosity that is our essence. Most of us in this age spend our most valuable hours being busy, chasing trivial pursuits and artificial amusements while neglecting living a real life. This is a formula for trivial pursuits and artificial amusements while neglecting living a real life. This is a formula for heartbreak at the end. What's the point of spending your best mornings and potentially productive days climbing mountains that you realize were the wrong ones when you are frail and wrinkled? Very sad. The part that part really resonated with me, interjected the entrepreneur, slightly emotionally. I'm definitely addicted to my technology. Can't stop checking everything. First thing in the morning and last thing at night. It's draining my concentration. I can hardly focus on the important deliverables my team and I have committed to. And all the noise in my life is taking my energy. It all feels so complicated. I just don't feel I have any time for myself anymore. It's fairly overwhelming. All the messages and notifications and ads and diversions. And what the spellbinder said is also so helpful to me as I raise my standards as a leader. I've sort of hit a wall. My company has grown faster than I ever expected. I've become more successful than I ever imagined. But there are some things causing me a ton of stress. She looked away and crossed her arms again. I can't tell them what I'm really dealing with, thought the entrepreneur. Then she continued. I've had to let go of people I really liked because I've learned people who fit at one stage of a business life cycle may not work as the firm evolves. That's been hard. They were the right employees for an earlier time, but they don't belong now. And some things are unfolding at my shop that have turned my life upside down. I don't really want to get into it. It's just a very shaky time for me. Well, on your point about elevating your leadership game, responded the homeless man. Please remember that the job of the leader is to help these believers embrace your vision, the powerless to overcome their weaknesses, and the hopeless to develop faith. And what you said on letting go of employees you liked but who no longer fit where your business is now at, that's a normal part of growing a business. And it happened because they failed to grow as your enterprise grows. They started coasting. They stopped learning, inventing, and making everything they touched better than they found it. And as a result, they stopped being awesome value incubators for your venture. They liked blame they likely blamed you, but they did it to themselves. The uninvited stranger indicated, surprising his listeners by the sophistication of his insights on team building and winning in commerce. Oh, exactly, replied the entrepreneur. So we had to leave them behind since they no longer delivered the results we were paying them for. A lot of nights I wake up at 2 a.m. soaked in steamy sweat. Maybe it's like what 4-1 racer Mario Andretti said. If everything seems under control, you are not going fast enough. That's how I seem to feel most days. We are blowing past our key performance indicators so quickly it seems my head spin. New teammates to mentor, new brands to manage, new markets to penetrate, new suppliers to watch, new products to refine, new investors and shareholders to impress, and 1,000 new responsibilities to handle. It really does feel like it's a lot. I have a huge capacity to get big things done, but there's a lot on my shoulders. The entrepreneur tightened her arms and scrunched her forehead together absent-mindedly. Her thin lips pulled together like a sea anemone, shutting on sensing a fatal predator, and her eyes suggested she was suffering intensely. And about your point about being addicted to technology, just remember that intelligently used, it advances human progress. Through using technology wisely, our lives become better, our knowledge becomes richer, and our wonderful world becomes smaller. It's the misuse of technology that's ruining people's minds, damaging their productivity, and destroying the very fabric of our society. Your phone is costing you your fortune, if you are playing with it all day long. And what you just said about the pressure on you, how fantastic. Pressure is a privilege, said tennis legend Billie Jean King, the homeless man shared. You get to grow, and ascending as a person is one of the smartest ways to spend the rest of your life. With every challenge comes the gorgeous opportunity to rise into your next level as a leader, performer, and human being. Obstacles are nothing more than tests designed to measure how seriously you want the rewards that your ambitions seek. They show up to determine how willing you are to improve into the kind of person who can hold that amount of success. Failures just growth in wolf's clothing, and pretty much nothing else is as important in life as personal expansion and unfoldment of your potential. Tolstoy wrote, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Become a bigger person, and you also automatically become a better leader and a greater producer. And yes, I agree that growth can be scary. But my mentor once taught me that the part of you that clings to fear must experience a sort of crucifixion so that the portion of you that deserves high honor undergoes a kind of reincarnation. Those are the exact words he shared with me. Freaky and deep, right? Said the oboe as he rubbed the holy man beads he was wearing. He kept going without waiting for an answer. My special teacher also told me that to find your best self, you must lose your weak self. And that only happens through relentless improvement, continuous reflection, and ongoing self-excavation. If you don't keep writing daily, you will get stuck in your life for the rest of your life. Makes me consider what the journalist Norman Cousins said. The tragedy of life is not death, but what we let die inside of us while we live. The homeless man raised his raspy voice and observed. My special teacher taught me that once we transform the primary relationship with ourselves, we will find that our relationships with other people, our work, our income, our impact transform. Most people can't stand themselves, so they can never be alone and silent. They need to constantly be with other people to escape their feelings of self-hatred over all their wasted potential, missing the wonders and wisdom that solitude and quiet bring. Or they watch TV endlessly, not realizing it's eroding their imagination as well as bankrupting their bank accounts. My life feels so complicated. I feel so overwhelmed. I don't have any time for myself, the entrepreneur repeated, not sure what's happened to my life. Things have just become hard.